Blurb. Hi there, welcome everyone to RACI's first Careers Hack event for 2021. I'm Dave Samet, I'm the coordinator of RACI's mentoring program. Careers Hack was pioneered as a new initiative last year to provide direct and immediate assistance to the many job seekers who have been reaching out for help from the RACI Careers Development Program. I'm delighted to say that this first event was a great success. Beyond just the great advice that was offered, at least one of our participants found a job as a direct result of the advice and follow-up support from that event. And I'm very much hoping that we can repeat that success tonight. Over the course of this event, we'll ask volunteers to raise your hand from the audience. We'll promote you to the panel. You'll tell us about your situation and your aspirations, and our professional HR and recruitment experts will offer you some specific advice suited to your needs. We aim to help you with an individual job search strategy that you can employ right away. And if you follow up with us, we'll offer you some direct introductions to useful contacts relevant to your job search. Our experts tonight are Patricia Rushton, Senior HR Advisor for Australian Laboratory Services, one of Australia's largest commercial analytical companies, and Anna Gradabova, a team leader in the recruitment consulting company Perso Kelly. Thank you so much to both of you for giving your time to help our participants. Note that we will be recording our event tonight, but we will seek permission from each participant afterwards who joins us to talk about their job search, and we'll edit out anyone who doesn't want to appear in the recording before we post it to YouTube. Before we start this evening's panel session, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are meeting all around Australia. We recognise the elders past, present and emerging, and also recognise their contributions as Australia's first scientists and engineers, building a healthy and safe community, what they've done and what we can still learn from their ways. We'd also like to thank our 2021 sponsors to the RACI Careers Development Program, DCS Technical, Envirolab and Laboratory Credit Union. So let's kick off. Firstly, I'm looking for volunteers from the crowd. So somebody put your hand up. And if you don't, I'm going to select somebody. By the way, apologies for my terrible voice. I'm recovering. So hello, Miranda.
Hello.
Now, by the way, do you prefer Dyke or do you prefer Miranda? I don't mind, whatever you...
So, Dika is my Chinese name, so yeah, Miranda.
Okay, no worries.
What should I say?
So tell us a little bit about, so you're an active job seeker right now?
Yeah, I'm looking for some graduate roles or graduate programs. I'm in my final year of chemical product engineering and pharmacology.
And specifically graduate programs, or are you just looking for positions suitable to graduates? Because there is a difference.
Yeah, positions suitable for graduates, but right now what I can find, I mean, in the job ads are mostly graduate programs.
Sure. Who wants to start? I guess I'll make the initial comment. The whole point of tonight is to look beyond job ads. Very few jobs generally are advertised, and during tough times like now, a lot of jobs are not advertised because companies don't want to be swamped with applications. So the actual number of job ads can go down rather than up. So the best way to approach your job search is to get on the front foot, build your network, and start directly approaching the people that you're most interested in working for. So Anna, why don't we start with you? If Miranda walked through the door with you and says, okay, I'm looking for graduate roles, where would you start?
So first, I will have a look through your experience and your CV. And by experience, I mean the academic experience, all the uni placements, so all volunteering experience as well. Because sometimes what I learned based on my experience for fresh graduate candidates, the resume or the CV look very, very empty. So it's just name, contact details, some generic summary like I'm a result-oriented fresh graduate looking for new opportunities, and then university, area of your study, and then like the time frames. That's all. So actually that's not enough. So you should provide some additional information on this, like what was your research focus, if you had any research projects, what was your university placement, companies. Maybe you have some articles, publications. So all the information like volunteering projects. So everything. maybe some university volunteering projects as well. So you should cover everything, and but just keep in mind it should be around 2 pages, not 4 pages, not 8 pages, because sometimes it's another side of this coin. And that's the first part. The second part, so right now for scientific candidates, the main point to do networking is the LinkedIn. So the second advice for you is just create your profile on LinkedIn, or if you have your profile, just adjust it, and LinkedIn will guide you actually, or you could Google it. The basic advice, like how to create the best LinkedIn profile ever, search. And you will find lots of articles with the guidance, what to add, what not to add. So yes, add, and another point, so you could add your education is the job experience. So that give you the opportunity. So for example, as a recruiter, I'm doing my search on LinkedIn, and I'm looking for someone with just a few years of experience. And if you add your experience, your education as experience with some projects, with the description of research you did, for example, or just a list of your subjects, like okay subjects, main subjects, major subjects. Yeah, let's give me an opportunity to look through your profile, and why not? Let's see what will happen next. So that's the first part. The second part, yes, it's a networking. So what I recommend to all of the candidates is create a list, a spreadsheet of the companies that you would like to work for. So do your own research and to look for work, even for the first role in your life, industry or academia role, but right now we are talking mostly about industry roles. It's the same research project as you are doing at university. So create a list of companies. Start from the, like small steps, baby steps. So 10 companies, like the ideal for you, that you know that you're keen to join. Another 10 companies, it's could be, maybe it's kind of far away, maybe it's western suburbs if you're in eastern suburbs, so maybe opposite side of the city for you, maybe other reasons. And then 10 companies, let's say, could be fine. So it's better to be in touch. And right now you have a list of 30 companies. So then you do some research via LinkedIn. You're looking for recruiters, you're looking for leaders, scientific leaders from these companies. And this is the next point, and this is a very important point, what I recommend you. So a lot of recruiters just send the messages to their scientific managers or to HR team. That's the main idea of, hey, our first graduate, do you have any opportunities? And we are receiving lots of, like tons of these messages every day. What I recommend, if you find the key person in the company, it's better to ask the advice. Here, the psychology, people like to give advice. People love to guide you. So here, for example, if you see the scientific leader or maybe just a chemist, senior chemist from the company that you would like to join, you could just send a message with the idea, hey, I see that you are working as the R&D chemist in the company XXX. So that's actually my dream job. Could you please give me some advice, what I should learn? Maybe some certificates, maybe some additional courses. So what was your story? Do you have really like 10 minutes for the phone call to discuss your career story with me, to give me some advice? So yeah, that's like, and send this to potential team workers or potential hiring managers. So yes, some people will ignore you, most of them, 90%, but 10%, they will agree to give you this advice, and you could start your network from this point.
I would also just cut in there and say, I completely agree, but to increase your chances, you can use your network to ask for introductions.
Yeah,
because if Anna introduces you to the person you're interested in, they'll pay a lot more attention than if you approach them cold. And that's something that we can help with at the RACI, right? 4,500 members who all know people.
That's what I just discussed with my mentor, actually.
Yes.
half an
Very
hour.
sorry for speaking over you there, Anna. But Miranda, can I just quickly ask, do you have a focus, or are you still uncertain about what you want to do?
I really want to work in the pharmaceutical or food industry, but as I look through like different graduate roles and advertisements, I think I'm more open-minded at the moment compared to me a few months ago.
Right. Well, then it's worth mentioning. So ALS, well, it's probably worth saying generally, contract analytical labs tend to be a common starting place for a lot of young chemists. That would be fair to say, Patricia?
Absolutely, yeah. We do take them in almost an entry-level role, so it might be on instrumentation, but we're not expecting too much experience. Degree always ticks that first box straight away because you can research, you learn, you know how to learn. But yeah, we often have jobs open. And whereabouts are you based, Miranda? Whereabouts are you?
Where?
Sorry? Whereabouts in the country are you based?
Sydney.
Oh, I'm struggling. Sydney, thank you. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think if we've got food and pharmaceutical in Sydney. Gosh. Mental block as to whether we have food and pharmaceutical actually.
Yes, you've got right on here, you've got the pharmaceutical lab.
Thank you. I've sort of mental block over it. I don't look after Sydney, I'm based in Perth, so I tend to not focus as much on the rest of the country. So yeah, it is a small part of our business. So to sort of come into ALS in food and pharmaceutical is probably a little bit, you're going to a smaller market, so there are chances that we don't need anybody because we're not expanding or anything, or nobody's leaving. But certainly it's worth flicking your resume through to myself, and Dave will give you my details, and I can certainly do that. You know, you've just networked now, you've introduced yourself to me. That's part of your networking. Coming onto these things is an opportunity for me to see you, see what you look like, see how you come across, etc. So that's your first networking that you've done by being brave and putting yourself forward for this. So Dave will give you my email address, send your resume through, and what I can do is forward it then on to our HR in Sydney and see if there are any opportunities coming up there.
In fact, I gave you by tomorrow. So you are a mentee in the mentoring program. Patricia is a mentor.
Sorry, I'm just going to shut my window.
I will be tomorrow publishing a list of all of the mentees and mentors, and there are multiple ALS staff who are mentors in the program.
Right. Oh.
And so there was multiple people that you can network with just at ALS, but there's also multiple mentors in the food and pharmaceutical industries that you can approach to seek that advice, to start to say, you know, what should I be doing, and building your networks with those people, right? The beauty of being in the mentoring program is on day one, you've got 200 people in your network.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I know you were asking the other day for our details, sort of mentors, mentees. So that is a great initiative, because like you say, you're automatically then, and not only that, with people being mentors, you know that they are happy to be approached because they've already said, hey, I've got time to mentor, therefore I've got time to answer a question, you know, point you in the right direction, etc. So it is a great idea, that, Dave. It's a good initiative.
We're going to take a couple more minutes to talk to you, but while we wait, I'm very much looking forward for the next person to put their hand up to volunteer for a little assistance. Miranda, I guess the other question I would ask you is, when are you looking for a job?
Well, I'm actually graduating in December, so right now I'm more urgently looking for an internship rather than graduate roles. So yeah, graduate role would be I think a year later.
Yeah, but it's beautiful because you've got plenty of time to build your network.
Yeah.
To sow the seeds now for the harvest you want to reap next season. But in terms of graduate programs, I will quickly mention 2 weeks from now, on the Thursday, 2 weeks from now, we're doing a webinar all about applying for graduate programs.
Yeah, I'm also looking into that as well.
So, Anna, any final comments from Miranda?
You could share your CV with me as well. We have a team in Sydney. And actually, we are working on some fresh graduate roles, so we'll be in touch.
Much.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to point out here, the reason that I know Anna is because I reached out to her on LinkedIn and asked to be connected. She very promptly and very happily accepted my connection. And here she is tonight, right? So, you know, this building your network goes on all through your career. So, okay, Miranda, thank you very much for your time. I'm going to send you back down to being an observer, and I'm going to promote the next person up. And I'm in the wrong spot. Hang on, I have to find your... why can't I find you? Oh, I know why I can't, because I'm looking in the wrong spot. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to put you back down and put someone else. There we go. Thank you. Did that work? Yes. Okay. And we've got two people with their hands up now, which is absolutely fabulous. Nareen, you were the first, so here you come. Max will bring you in next.
Hi.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How about you guys?
Excellent, thank you. I would like to say I'm delighted to say another mentee in the program. What state are you in, Nareen?
I'm in New South Wales, so I'm based in Sydney.
Okay. All right. Well, tell us about yourself and how we can help.
So I'm currently studying a Bachelor of Medical Science, and I'm majoring in medicinal chemistry at Western Sydney University. I've just entered my final semester, so I'm so excited to finish. I'm currently interested in working in inorganic chemistry. I found that that's something that I really enjoyed. I'm currently taking an advanced inorganic chemistry unit this semester. So I'm keen to learn about batteries and magnets and stuff like that. And I'm also interested in animal medicine as well as analytical chemistry. I know that with recent graduates, they usually go into analytical chemistry-based jobs. I'm also very interested in working in a government agency like ANSTO. I know that from other webinars, the one with Lydia and Yvonne, I was really interested with the presentation that Lydia gave about her doing radiochemistry and electrochemistry. And that really sparked my interest. So I would really be interested at working at ANSTO. And I think working at a government agency would really open up a lot of opportunities. And I think like you can learn a lot from a government agency like ANSTO.
Sure, absolutely can. And do you do much recruitment work around government?
We have a team who is looking after government projects, but usually it's not so common for us to fill the scientific roles in the government services. So yeah, mostly it's about any other roles. So yeah, definitely, like generally we are in scientific roles. Usually there is some specific agencies who are covering scientific government, or you could apply directly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and
again, it's about networking. So you could reach the right person via LinkedIn or on some conferences, webinars.
Would you, can you give any advice on looking out for red flags on LinkedIn? Because I only recently started networking, because like I've been having a lot of trouble getting interviews or callbacks through applying for roles. And I was speaking to my mentor and she said, you know, nowadays, even back when I was looking for a role, you mainly get a role based on networking. And so I had somebody message me on LinkedIn about 3 weeks ago, and she works at a company in Sydney called Redox, which is like a chemical handling company. And it's very close to me. It's about like 5 minutes away from me. And and she messaged me saying like, hey, are you open to networking opportunities? Sorry, not networking, employment opportunities. I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, I'm happy to chat with you about it. Like, I can do it over Zoom or over LinkedIn, like, you know. And she hasn't gotten back to me. And I looked through her profile. She has 500 plus connections. She doesn't have much. She has no education, nothing in her education. It says that she's worked at Redox, that she's in HR, like a talent acquisition. She's in HR. But I feel like her profile, I don't know if she's real or not, because she hasn't gotten back to me and she's always online. And she has, and also she has over 500 connections. And I feel like, oh, I don't know, if I should.
I've got
that's not the right way. That looks dodgy. And that's not the right way to do, you know, your search for candidates via LinkedIn. But sometimes that's happens. So we have 10% that say that this is the real person. And what you could do actually, if you feel that something wrong with this, call to the company. So you could just Google their phone and call them and say like, hey, this person, Jane Doe, just send me a message to LinkedIn. And yeah, I just want to, you know, be in touch with her. Just want to talk to her. I have some questions. Yeah, something like this, like really easy. And if they say like, no, we don't have this person on our board, we have no idea who is she, that's fine. Regarding the number of connections, I have around 10,000 connections on LinkedIn. So that's fine for professional recruiters. So if they have more than 500, that's fine. Even it's looks dodgy if the professional recruiter you know, has less than 500 connections.
Yeah, and profile, there's a lot more on my profile than there was on hers. And I was like, oh, is she a real person? And I tried doing a Facebook search to see if she has a Facebook profile. Couldn't find her. So I guess I have to call the company and see if she's actually a real person.
Yeah, so you could call to the company and yes, maybe it's some kind of fraud. It could be. And potentially what could happen, so they will call you or you will chat, they will invite you to interview, and then they will tell you that you need to do some police check or any security clearance, but it will cost. So usually if they're working with students, ex-students, that will cost around $30. So not so much, but actually they have like thousands, hundred students. And yes, like totally, it will be a massive amount of money they will receive. And once they will get this money, so they will send you a link to the fake website, or maybe they will ask you for your credit card details because you should do this on the website. So yeah, be careful with this because no agencies, no professional recruiters, and the companies as well, never will ask you to pay for some services.
Yeah.
So yes, be careful with this.
As I recall, Anna, it is illegal for a recruiter to ask money from a candidate.
So there is some recruitment agencies that's working on this basis. So like, for example, you pay money and they will send you your CV, they will find your work. But usually it's the blue collar services. So it's not a professionals, so not white collar professionals. And usually you sign in the contract, and usually if you see this recruitment agency and you click on their website, it would be a message like, hey, we are working on the candidate basis. So for example, for Kelly services, and right now we are Personal Kelly Scientific, it's the same company, and Programmed in Australia, it's the same company as well. We have different brands. So we are working with our clients, with the companies, and we never ever will ask our candidates to pay for anything, even if it's just a really minor money. So definitely we will discuss with our client and we'll charge our clients or maybe some kind of internal things. But yeah, that's look like a fraud. Be careful. But yeah, you could check, and that's good that you check this. But yeah, looks dodgy, to be honest.
Redox Chemicals is a reputable company. I've done business with them for years. They would actually, given that Miranda has also said in the chat that she's had the same experience, I think they'd be very interested to hear that they are potentially doing reputational damage to themselves if this is a genuine one, or that there is a fraudster out there I think either way, they'd be very keen to hear that. I think I might pick up the phone to one of my contacts there and just ask them about this.
Yeah, that's the good point, because actually, like a few weeks ago, I heard a story from another candidate, Abbott Healthcare, well known for big pharma company, was in touch with her with kind of same story. And actually, what she did, she just, called to the main office in Sydney and asked them for this person.
Yeah.
And it was the same, like empty profile on LinkedIn, no photo, only title, time frames, company, and that's all. So yeah, it could be. Unfortunately, it's real world. So it's good that you know this, and it's good that you're aware.
Yeah, but we should circle back to your individual needs. So you're graduating how soon?
June. So end of June, I'll finish all my exams. I should be getting my results by the end of June, and then my ceremony will be in September.
Yeah, that's not the issue. So you're becoming available by July, which means that your job search is starting to ramp up now.
Yes.
Well, great. So we would love to help with that. Obviously, you've got some ideas of people that you can network with and build on that. Patricia, what do you have to add to the discussion?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not the field I'm in. I see you wanting to go into a different field, which is fine, obviously. But I'd be trying to get those contacts. Or trying to, as Anna said with Miranda, is finding somebody in that company, finding somebody either high up or somebody in a department where you would like to work, and contacting them. So that's, again, using LinkedIn. You mentioned the company before, so find out people in LinkedIn, anybody in who's working in chemistry, etc., and contact them either through LinkedIn or find their email addresses. Email addresses for companies are usually easy because the majority are first name dot last name at whatever the company is. I find that very, it seems to be universal. So that's a good way of, if you do find somebody's name and they're not contacted you on LinkedIn, give them an email. I must admit, if somebody emails our general manager, who's the general manager of APAC, and if he sends me an email then and says, oh, this person's just emailed me, I will pay it attention because the general manager has sent it to me. So that's a good way of doing it, is going to the top, because HR tend to be driven by priorities of who's higher up in the company. So, and usually he will say, have you contacted this person? It's a really good way of sort of sneaking in the back door almost, and actually getting HR to contact you, because they're looking at the reputation of the company. And as you said before, Dave, with this potential of this person affecting the reputation, they want to know that I have done some sort of contact, because it's what we might need you in the future. So it's a kind of a good way to, it sneaks you in, but it's a good way to do that, because in HR, we do tend to jump a bit higher when it is from a more senior manager, rather than maybe going through the email, which can come, anybody can get the email through a website. So target people, give them those questions, as Anna said, that people love to give information. They love to have the brains picked because it's flattering. So anything like that will get you noticed. And once you get noticed, then you start to stand out. That's when people remember you and say, oh, we've got a job. This person was asking about it. So it's all that sort of it's networking by stealth almost. But it is a good way of getting yourself across. And sometimes as well, you apply for a job, and guess what? They've got a job they need to fill. Your resume looks perfect. Rather than then going out to the market, you're first on you're first in line then. And it does happen. I've had it so many times. People have sent me a resume, and it's like, thank you. I don't have to go and seek. I've just found the perfect person. So it's all, it's not timing. Sometimes it's luck, but the more you do it, like Anna said, you send out lots and lots of emails, and only 10% respond. But that 10%, that might be that one job that you've got. So it's worth taking the effort and doing that.
It's also worth saying, you're absolutely right with everything you said, Patricia, but I think it's also worth pointing out that recruitment consultants work in a time-poor environment with very heavy pressures, often competing against other recruitment consultancies to get the job and get the fee. And therefore, a lot of recruitment consultants, and you may well say the same here, Anna, have what they call star candidates or some version thereof, people that they think are eminently employable as soon as the right job comes up. And so if you can get on the good side of a recruitment consultant, get on their star candidate list, they will be looking for an opportunity to place you into a job because they can make their money faster and easier. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. It's a win-win situation. Anna?
Yes, first I'm totally agree with you regarding the start candidates. So yeah, and definitely we are welcome to receive any CVs via email. And it was a very good point that Patricia raised regarding to emails. So I just want to share one small trick or life hack here. So if you're looking for email address, actually what you could do, you could just Google the name of the company, then email format, and if it's a multinational company, add Australia. And there is a few websites that works as an aggregator for all emails, professional emails, and usually they have the format and they will give you, so for this company, the most common format is, for example, like first letter from the name and then the last name, or maybe it's name dot last name, or maybe just last name, or maybe just first name and the ending, because with some companies, sometimes the second part of the email is not matched to the commercial name they use. Sometimes it could be just a little bit different. So for you, it's another trick how to use this if you want to send the email. So yeah, you could just Google this phrase, the name of the company, email format, and add Australia if it's an international company.
And of course, once you're connected to someone on LinkedIn, you can push the contact details button and it'll show you their contact details. Often it'll give you a phone number.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay, well, let's keep it moving. Thank you very much, Noreen, for your courage in stepping up, and we will move to the next person. So there we go. Now we've got 2 volunteers here. Maxwell is next, so I'm going to move Maxwell up, and we'll probably have time for one more. So Albert, you should be able to join us next. G'day, Maxwell. How you doing?
Hi, Dave. I'm doing good. Hello, Patricia. Hello, Anna.
Hi, how you going?
I'm doing good. Funny thing happened today. I actually had an interview with Pestle Kelly for the Future Scientist Award. Hilarious. What a coincidence is that, man?
Wow, in New South Wales? Or
Yeah. So they say I'm going to get the results tomorrow, so fingers crossed.
Anna,
We
before
are
we're
doing
done,
the same for Victoria right now.
before we're done, Anna, you should explain to everyone what the Future Scientist Award is, but we'll circle back to that. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
so,
Okay.
yeah, I could do this quickly. So every year we run a Future Scientist Award. It's a one-day award for fresh graduates, students, scientific students. And actually our mission is to help scientific students to do this networking, because we have a panel of judges, scientific leaders from different industries, and we try to make this balance between, industries and areas of study of our students and clients or judges. So here the main idea is it's like a very, very short format interview, and then it's the networking event, depends on the state. It's a dinner or lunch when you actually could see your potential hiring manager and ask them for advice, just an informal conversation. So, and we understand that sometimes it's very, very hard to find a first role in industry. And some students think that it's a good idea. And actually, it's a good idea to proceed with PhD, for example. And the reality right now, it's after the PhD, it's even harder to find a work in industry. So we are accepting PhD students as well who want to jump to the industry, not only like master or bachelor levels. So yeah, that's our great networking event, and that's I'm really glad that you are joining us.
Yes, that was an excellent segue.
Okay. My fingers crossed. So I'm responsible for Victoria. I'm not responsible for New South Wales, so I could just keep my fingers crossed for you.
That's all I need.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Will do.
So carry on, Max. Tell us about, where you're up to and what you're looking for.
Yeah, so I've already graduated. I actually graduated at the end of last year. So I've just been looking for a job, something in the analytical chemistry, hopefully. But, I'm flexible. I can do quality control, quality assurance. There seem to be a lot of those hanging around if they're willing to teach me. But yeah, it's kind of a tough market if you don't know what you're doing. I actually applied for an ALS job about last month. I should be getting the results back from that about this month. So hopefully that goes through well as well. But,
You're Sydney-based, aren't you, Max?
I am, yes.
And where in Sydney?
Western Sydney.
Western Sydney. I do know that Envirolab is recruiting right now, but they're not advertising. But they have asked me for recommendations. So if you would like an introduction there, I'd be happy to put your name forward. They're based in Chatsworth.
Oh, that'll be awesome. Yeah, I think I know. Yeah, because I've looked them up. I've tried to apply for work experience at Envirolab. Unfortunately, with COVID, they didn't have any.
Yeah.
But hopefully, this will change that.
Yeah, absolutely. So afterwards, you send me an email, remind me, and I will. In fact, send me your details, and I'll forward them on to Jacinta at Envirolab.
And can you forward them on to me as well, so I can sort of mention to our HR in Sydney. So if it was a month, they might still be recruiting for that one. I'm sort of not aware of what they're doing over there, but definitely sort of shoot me an email or shoot me details.
Yeah, I believe the job was supposed to. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll put your name forward. You seem like just the kind of person we need in our company. You're so full of fun.
I'm always about fun.
Well, I will say this, Max. I've visited the site.
Doesn't mean I can't do work though.
Yeah.
Does
you've studied.
Does the environmental lab at Wetherill Park still exist, Patricia? It was magnificent.
Yes.
It was beautiful.
Yes, we've got Wetherill Park is I think it's the largest one, isn't it? I've obviously never been over there, unfortunately. Oh, right. I never realised it was so fancy.
Oh, it was lovely. It was just so beautiful. It was well thought out. So yes. Brian Williams was the boss at the time, and he has a really good head on his shoulders. Yeah. And I don't think I've ever seen a lab that was as well planned as that one was.
It makes a difference when you've got somebody who knows what the lab should be. We've the one at Perth actually has improved. Sample receipt, for example, has improved beyond belief because of sometimes it's a building you get. You need to have a really good, shell of a building to be able to create what you want inside of it. And yeah, I'll have to tell Sandra's our HR in Sydney, so I'll tell her she's working in a nice building, probably nicer than mine. But yeah, Max will definitely send an email through to me or get in touch, and then I can sort of just zoom along and see where they are with the process there.
Yeah, it's also worth whenever you're an active job seeker, making sure that you lodge your resume with all of the major recruiters, and there is a list of those on my website on dcstechnical.com.au. I'll put that dcstechnical.com.au. There is on my useful links page, there is a list of recruiters, because the first place any recruiter is going to start is with their own database. So you've got to be on their database, right? And Purcell Kelly has a presence in New South Wales. There are at least 2 scientific recruiters in Sydney and a STEM recruiter. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's correct. So we have Purvi, she's the team leader, and we have 2 more scientific.
Yes, and actually Purvi will be speaking at the Careers Hack event 2 months from now. So we hold these every 2 months, and Purvi is participating in the next one.
That's awesome. I would have met Purvi today, but she wasn't here. It's been unfortunate.
Oh. Yes, she should be.
You've got the floor, Max. Any other questions for us at the moment?
Let me think. Getting back to jobs. So when you've applied for a job and you haven't heard back from them for a while, what do you think is a good frequency for calling them back? You think once a week is okay? You think that maybe once every 3 days? What do you think? And weekends okay or not okay?
No. I'll sort of feel that one, because obviously you probably you know, directly applying for jobs with a company rather than going through recruitment. So it all depends how busy we are. It's there's a difference between keen and then, you know, over keen. So it's that fine line. And I think as well, if you sort of speak to the HR person once, read what they're saying. So if they sort of say, yeah, you know, I've spoken to me, yeah, you sound good, you know, I'll definitely speak to the manager about you, etc. Triggered. We're good at sussing people out over the phone. This is what we do, and obviously this is what Anna does as well. We're good at reading people. So if we think, wow, this person's a good company fit, they're keen, etc., and if they say, oh yeah, I'll speak to the manager now I've spoken to you, trust that they will. Maybe then shoot them an email, so you're not sort of bombarding them then, but maybe give it a few days and just shoot an email and say, hey, great talking to you the other day, Pat. You know, did you have any luck speaking to the manager? And then if they come back and say, yeah, I've spoken to him, I've, you know, put your resume forward, etc. I'd wait for the process then a little bit, because that after that, I think you're then becoming over keen, and it does. You know, we have a certain amount of influence over what we give to managers, but it doesn't mean that they will always go, oh, this person's brilliant, I will take that person. They might have somebody else in mind. So sometimes it's just not the right time. But yeah, it's a fine line between sort of making yourself known and making yourself keen, and then getting into, and I'm thinking of people who've done that in the past, and it becomes intrusive, because then I've nothing to say. I've given you resume forward. If the manager hasn't come back, I have no further influence on that situation. So if they say they're going to do it, chances are they will. And you can usually tell by their voice, their sort of demeanor. If you feel like you're talking to somebody and they're going, oh wow, I'm so glad you phoned me out, chances are they will send your resume through. And I do it. I will say, hey, so-and-so's just called me, send great on the phone, recommend you look at the resume and maybe give them a call in. So it does work. But yeah, just be careful of doing it too much. On weekends, I would say no. It's just that little respect the privacy and respect how busy they are. But phone call, then a follow-up email, I think that would be enough.
Yeah, because I don't want to come off as like a debt collector or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I want.
Stalker. We've got my own stalker.
I think it's always important to distinguish between wanting a job and wanting this job. If you can express to the potential employer or the recruiter not only that you are keen, but why you are keen, then it puts you on a lot better footing.
I
that's
agree.
a good point.
Yes,
That's a good point.
I've had people sort of say, you know, I want a job, any job. And there's a difference between that and saying, I want to work at ALS. I've seen this job, I really want to work there. So yeah, I agree there, Dave, definitely. It steps you that little bit up.
Yeah, particularly if you can articulate why. Sorry, Anna, go.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting. It also could be a good way just to manage your expectation and ask the person who you're talking with, like, what do you think? Could I call you in 1 week, or maybe in 2 weeks, or maybe in 3 days? Because yes, definitely, as Patricia said, so sometimes we are just a chain. We just, you know, like it's a chain between the candidate and the hiring manager, and we are the part of this chain. And sometimes it's not our delay. So sometimes it could be anything, actually, not only managers. So yeah, it's better to check. And yeah, we could give you some advice. We could give you some details. For example, we have a meeting with hiring manager next week, and next week we will have some, you know, information about next steps. So that's totally fine, and it's very polite to check this, to manage your expectation, their expectations as well.
Yeah. When I was working in recruitment, it was during an employment downturn in the 90s, and my record for one advertised position at a graduate chemist position, I had 450 applicants.
Wow.
The point is that we didn't have time to have 450 conversations. So, you know, it's got to be realistic, you know, and there has to be a balance. So, well, thank you very much, Maxwell. We've got just enough time for one more. So thank you for participating. I will be in contact to get your permission if you're allowed the recording. And there we go. And last but very much not least, we have Albert. Here comes Albert any second now.
Hey guys.
Hi,
Hey,
Albert.
Dave. Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you. So tell us all about yourself. How can we help?
Yeah. I'm a graduate chemical engineer. I did my master's from UNSW. I just graduated in December, and I'm an international student. So that's the problem with many recruiters. They don't want to hire international students and stuff like that. I did my thesis on food in the food industry, non-thermal processing of orange juice, and I have very keen interest on the food and pharmaceutical industry. In fact, I'm also a member of AIFST, which is related to food science, and I'm also in the part of their mentoring program. I've been trying to be a member of RACI, but I didn't get back from Caroline last week. I was trying to mail her.
We've been having some trouble. There's been a couple of people sick and whatnot, but we will get it all sorted out.
All right. No worries. Yeah. So I'm just networking every Thursday with RACI, meeting new people. And so I did my bachelor's in chemical engineering from India, and I have a 1 year of experience in chemical manufacturing and a carbon black processing plant, more like a process control kind of thing. And now I'm also applying for my Six Sigma Green Belt certification. And I just want to I just have a couple of questions. So regarding LinkedIn networking, so you see a job ad on LinkedIn or Seek, and you Google out and you check out the company on LinkedIn, and you see if there are any connections that or if there's someone that you can help. So I met this person who I had a chat with him at a networking event, and he was into all this. He's working in AstraZeneca over here in Sydney. So I asked him, do you have any connections at GMP Pharmaceuticals like this? And the same thing which Maxwell asked before, how long is a good, what is the best frequency for a connection? You can see that the person has read your message, but there's no reply.
There's no right answer. I think the first and most important thing is to get your approach right in the first place. So for instance, on LinkedIn, you never ever just send a LinkedIn request that says, I'd like to connect on LinkedIn, that standard message. Mm-hmm. Never, ever. You always explain who you are and why you want to connect.
Okay.
Right? That's really important.
Mm-hmm.
And particularly if you were going into GMP, but you knew someone at AstraZeneca, you might say in your LinkedIn request, this person at AstraZeneca suggests that I should link with you.
So I was trying to connect with the person at AstraZeneca. I already met him. We had a chat, and we're already connections. So I messaged him, and then after 1 week, still no reply. You can see the red, and that leads me to another question. So you see a job ad, and then do you ask someone whom you know first, or do you apply for the job straight away, and then you ask someone for a reference?
I've got a million things to say on this, but Anna, you start.
Yes, so let's, there is multiple questions. So I will start with the first one. You mentioned that you're an international student.
Yes.
And that's totally fine if you have a temporary visa, but just for manage our expectation as well, it could be good if you just mention this, the type of visa and expiry date in your CV. Like, for example, I have 485 visa till 20 seconds. Just for example. So yeah, that's good because we have a plenty, based on my experience, we have a plenty of temporary roles for fresh graduates or candidates with less than 1 year of experience. But for us, it's important to understand what kind of visa to have, because sometimes if you have a student visa, you can work only 20 hours. But if you have the same student visa, but you're in the final stage of your thesis or your project, so you could work 40 hours. So for us, it's important to understand first. Second question was around following up. So I believe 3-4 days, 1 week, business week, that's enough for the second follow-up.
All right.
Yes, and another moment here, it's a good example. I hope that's a good example. So if you watch some TV shows, there is a hook in the last few minutes. You know, this hook effect that helps you okay, I just want to see what happened next. So when you send in the message, you should use the same hook effect, like with this person. You should ask a question. Well, like finish your message with the question, not just something like, "Hey, nice to meet you. Be a part of your network. It's so cool. Wow." So ask some questions like, "Hey, what's our next steps?" Or yeah, I just wanted to follow up regarding like blah blah blah. So ask a question, any question.
All right.
Or maybe like if you have no idea what to ask, you could check the news feed of this person on LinkedIn. So you know where it's located under the photo and the general information. Check what he liked and actually ask about this. I mean, check like if he liked the, I don't know, recent post about some vaccination, you could ask like, "Oh, I saw you like this post." So blah, 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 and then the question. So it should be a reason for question. If not, you will find and you will ask, but it's definitely okay to follow up in 1 week and 2 weeks later. Yep, that's my reply for the following up.
While Anna is saying this, I think it's really important to remember the other really important question. If you don't get the job, if you've gone for an interview and you don't get the job, always ask, what could I have done better?
All right.
Patricia and Anna will always tell you, and then you're better placed for next time.
Awesome.
Patricia, how does Envirolab work with Envirolab? Goodness gracious, how does ALS work with different visa types?
It depends what sort of visa are you on at the moment, Albert? What's your sort of status?
485. I'm going 485 for the
485.
graduate, temporary visa.
Yeah,
Right, so that's the
what I mentioned actually.
Yeah. So that's the actual, I've only just discovered this one. So this one you don't have to study. It's when you've studied within a certain degree, and then you can continue for sort of 2 or 4 years, depending on what study you've done. Is that the one?
Yeah.
We'd still be happy. I think if we, if you say I'm on 485 visa, and because I've done a bachelor's or whatever, I've got 4 years that I can remain in the country. We'd still be happy for 4 years. It's a good space of time. You've got a lot out of somebody. You've trained them. They've given a lot back, because people come into a company and then they leave. So just to say, well, 4 years is not enough. I wouldn't think that was an unreasonable amount of time for you to say, this is how all I can give you is 4 years. And ultimately, you may eventually get a permanent residence anyway. You may follow on for that. So yeah, I would say if you express, and that's one thing Dave and Anna said is, express on your resume right at the very beginning. I'm on a 487 or whatever, 485 visa. This is a 4-year visa which started in such and such. So I'm available for X amount of years. You put in it straight up front. But if you are on that visa and it's even a 2-year visa, we still probably look at it. One thing, if you're sort of on a visa and you're maybe struggling for positions, and I'm saying this because I know we are advertising it, is look at regional areas, because it is very, very difficult for us to find chemists in regional areas. So if you are prepared to move around the country, go and live in Mount Isa, Orange, somewhere regional, you've probably got more of an opportunity of getting a job, simply because the pool of people that you are fighting against is a lot smaller. I don't know where you are at the moment, whether you're sort of Sydney or Melbourne. You've got a big pool to go against there, but if you're willing to move around the country and go and do the hard yards in Kalgoorlie or Orange, something like that, you have far more chance, because you will literally be only competing with 3, 4, 5 people.
I do know that Broken Hill is starving for qualified scientific employees.
Yeah.
Right now, although I love that you suggested, Patricia, that you suggested Mount Isa some years ago, and I'm sure it's changed in the last 20 years, but 20 years ago, one of my friends, who was the roughest, toughest Aussie bloke you could imagine, took a job in Isa thinking he was going to make his fortune, and he came back 2 weeks later to our job. And I said, what happened? He said, when I saw the third person thrown through a window of a pub, I realized this wasn't for me.
I suspect it's still a little bit like that. I know it's a mining town, but I mean, we've got a manager who came from South Africa, for example, and this is what I mean about regional. He came to Perth and started working in Perth, but he didn't like it. He wanted, that was it. He went to Mount Isa, came to Perth, but went back to Mount Isa because they loved the sort of town. They didn't want to live in a big city. So if you're prepared to move around, you've got far more opportunity and you're actually competing against a much smaller pool of people. So if that's something that you're willing to do, and sort of coming from another country as well, you've less ties to a place, and therefore you're more likely to say, hey, I'm happy to move to a different, a different state, a country town, etc. So that puts you right ahead of everybody else. Like I say, we have jobs advertised at the moment in, where am I looking? Orange, which again is a little town in New South Wales. Cute little town, I believe. It's quite nice. But yeah, definitely. And town, we've got one in a lab in Townsville, which is a beautiful place. But any places where it's maybe not as pleasant to live, but you're willing to put those hard yards in. And it's
I'll pick you up on that one. Not necessarily not as pleasant to live, just a very different lifestyle.
Yeah.
I grew up in one of those Australian country towns, and it was glorious. Yeah. It was lovely, and everybody knew each other. And the only reason I left was because there was simply no employment opportunities. In my town at the time, it was economically depressed, and there was not a job for a man between the ages of 25 and 60.
Yeah.
So you had to leave.
Yeah. No, you're right to pick me up on that, because it's people just have a perception, especially somewhere like Kalgoorlie, that it's this, again, 3 people being thrown through a window. And it can be a bit like that, but it is also really nice. They've got a lovely team of people up there, very close-knit community. So there are advantages. And I've done the same as you, Dave. Came from a pretty small town in the UK, and that was, not everybody knew everybody, but it was getting there. So yeah, there are real advantages, but it puts you ahead of everybody else, because some people just don't want to leave a city. They do not want to go. So yeah, get looking at those kind of jobs. Go and seek and look at, small country towns and see you won't find them in Sydney, obviously, advertised, but go and look at smaller towns and see. And what best thing to do, go on a company website, look at locations and get in touch with somebody. And if you're willing to do that, if you say to me, hey, I'm willing to go looking at a job in a small country town, then yes, you'll get to the front of our queue. I can tell you that now.
That's also true. Many government departments have significant centres in regional areas to foster employment. So I know when the New South Wales Department of Mines moved to Cessnock, 85% of their Sydney staff quit rather than move. And it actually meant that New South Wales missed out on the mining boom because there was no skills left in the department. But the point is that, if you're interested in government, there are opportunities in regional areas as well. Okay, Anna, last comments to you here.
Yeah, I'm just totally agree with this. I have one concern, and it's what's usually happen when we are looking for regional roles. So we are looking at the CV at your resume for your location. So it's just a trick. For example, if you applied for regional roles, just remove your location just in case, or add something like on the way to relocate it to Albury, to Taronga, to any city that you prefer. So that's helped us to understand that you're not just looking for a job, but you actually have some plans to relocate to this city, even if it's a small city in the middle of nowhere. So it just give us more understanding that, okay, that's the right person.
Yeah. Okay. We need to wrap up for the evening. Thank you so much for everybody. I will do my wrap-up spiel, but what I have learned tonight is that there's quite a few people who might benefit. I've just put in the chat the link to, we are running right now an intensive short training course on career stuff and a full-day workshop on Saturday week where we practice the skills of doing really good job applications, really good interviews, and job search strategy. So that might be something that people would like to commit. Numbers are limited because I can't run a big event online. So if you're interested, I would recommend you get in quickly. Okay, I'll do my spiel. Thank you very much. I'm going to send you back down to the audience. Albert. Thank you very much for your participation. Okay. All right. So tonight has been another event as part of the RACI Careers Thursday initiative. The RACI Careers Development Program is here to support all of our members and the STEM community more generally with everything to do with establishing and building great careers. I encourage each and every one of you to reach out to me via mentoring@raci.org.au or on LinkedIn, and particularly if there's anything that you need that me and my colleagues can do to be of help to you. Through webinars, networking events, mentoring, lectures and workshops, the RACI Careers Development Program aims to help graduating students and early career scientists get the best possible foundations in their careers. Our upcoming careers events include, next week is Building Strong Career Foundations. The week after that is Applying for Graduate Programs. And the week after that is our monthly Camaraderie Online Networking Initiative. Thanks to Patricia and Anna for participating tonight. And thanks again to our sponsors for 2021, DCS Technical, Evolve Scientific and Laboratory Credit Union. Thank you all.